Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Holidays from Men at the Movies, the YouTube channel. My name's Paul McDonald, and today we're going to talk about Elf. Now, you would think after doing a two-part episode with the guys from JB's Bible and Bourbon Talk that we wouldn't have anything more to say, but Elf is such a great movie that we do, or more succinctly, I do. There's a couple scenes that I wanted to talk about that really reflect some faith. So let's journey with Buddy and find out what faith is. And we're going to go towards the end of the movie, this scene where Santa has crash landed in New York City in Central Park. Walter's there, Buddy's there, Michael is there. And this first scene is Michael sees Santa, sees the book, gets his skateboard, and when he gets the skateboard, the sleigh rises, right? Because the belief increases. And so, but that takes Michael by surprise. So let's take a look at this and see how this scene really reflects what it means to have faith.
What happened?
You made my sleigh fly.
What do you mean?
Well, before the turbine days, this baby used to run solely on Christmas spirit. You believed in me. You made my sleigh fly.
Hold it. If you're really Santa Claus, then we can just get some news cameras in here and everyone will believe in you. Then your sleigh will fly, right?
Christmas spirit is about believing, not seeing. The whole world saw me, all would be lost.
And I love that line. It's about believing, not seeing. For me, I want to see it first. I want to see what I'm believing, see it so I believe it. Really, and that's what Thomas said. Until I see Jesus' hands, until I see his feet, I'm not going to believe that he's alive again. And we want to believe, we want to see, and we want to see before we believe. But there's a cost to that. In Matthew 13:58, it says that Jesus did not do many miracles at Capernaum there because of their lack of faith. He only did a few miracles because of their unbelief. They didn't believe, so they didn't see. And later, in another episode, in another situation from Mark in chapter 8, the Pharisees demanded a sign. He had just fed 4,000 people, and yet they said they wanted a sign. How can you prove that you are who you say you are? And in verse 12, it says, when Jesus heard this, he sighed deeply in his spirit and says, why do these people keep demanding a miraculous sign? I tell you the truth, I will not give this generation any such sign. When we demand to see it before we believe it, we're not going to see it. And that's over and over. But what Buddy and Walter show us in this next clip is that by believing, you will see. And so the Santa, again, to set the stage, Santa's got the rocket. It's not really working. We're going to go towards the end of this scene. Everybody's singing with Jovi because she's singing to increase Christmas cheer, sing loud for all to hear, right? And so she's singing, everybody's singing, everybody that Buddy is contacted with, has come in contact with, anybody that Buddy's influenced, touched, is singing along because they believe. And singing is a sign of belief. But Walter isn't singing. But watch what happens when he does start singing.
Wait, you're not singing.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. You're just moving your lips.
Michael, please, what's the big deal?
Dad?
Santa Claus is coming to town.
And you see two different people. Two different people see something after they believe it. Walter starts singing, and almost immediately, because that's the way it's written, he sees Santa, right? But there's another person whose faith becomes real in that scene, and that's Buddy. As he's flying away, he's looking back and he's seeing a family that he believed he had. He sees Jovi, who's looking back at him, that he was in love, right? He's like, I'm in love and I'm in love. I don't care who knows. And he sees what he believed in. He sees a father who's no longer on the naughty list. He sees a family, and the end of the movie shows that. Here's Buddy, a person who didn't belong in elf kingdom, in elf culture. He didn't fit in human culture, but over the course of the movie, he believed that he fit in, and he actually now fits in both. He's now welcome in both. He has family in both. And this is what we see in Hebrews when it talks about faith. Faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. And that's the NIV version. I really like the New Living Translation version that says, faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things that we cannot see. And then he goes through and he gives a bunch of examples. By faith, Abel brought an acceptable offering to God. Enoch was taken up to heaven. Noah built a boat. He obeyed God, who warned him about things that had never happened before. He believed God about things that had never before been seen, and that was credited to him by righteousness. Abraham obeyed God. Abraham believed God that he would have a son, even though he couldn't see it. So as we enter into this new year, what is God calling you to believe that you have no hope to see? What are you believing for yourself? It could be healing. It could be, and I'm not talking about external things like promotions, new house, all this other garbage that we think matters. And even to a lesser degree about exercising. You know, it's New Year's, everybody makes the resolutions, but James Clear writes in his book, Atomic Habits, that habits don't stick for external purposes. You won't stick to an exercise plan because you believe it's a good thing to do. You won't stick to a Bible reading plan because you're like, oh, that's what Christians should do, so I'm going to do it. You'll stick to an exercise plan by saying, hey, by basing it on internal things. I want to be a grandfather who can pick up his grandchildren. You know, there's that great commercial that shows a guy lifting weights, doing a kettlebell so that when Christmas comes, he can hold his granddaughter up and put the star on the tree. It's when you decide that it's who you are internally that will determine who you are externally. So where is God inviting you in 2023 to have faith? To believe things that don't make sense. To believe him to provide for your family when everything out there is telling you to scramble and strive and scratch out a living. Where are you believing that he will come through when you don't see it with your family, with your kids who may be far from God? But you have to believe it before you can see it. And that's what these two scenes from Elf show us. And if you want more content about this awesome movie, check out our podcast. It's on Spotify. We just got on Amazon Podcasts. So have a happy new year, and we hope to see you next time here on Men at the Movies, the YouTube channel. Say bye, buddy.